All right, friend, David here from Learn Christmas Lighting, and in this video, I want to take it apart and look at some sequencing from a professional to see what we can learn from it, and ultimately, point out some really cool effects that you can do, things you can do for your light show, and take a different look. So last week, if you didn't watch, we looked at Tom Bitgeorge. We looked at his video of Take On Me, and it was awesome. It was really fun to look at. Go check that out here. Today, shorter clip, it's 1:45, but this is the Peace family, David Peace and his family, and their family light show with Super Mario Brothers Jump Up Superstar. And I think we're going to find this one to be really interesting. I'm going to comment on a couple things as we get going. One is you're going to notice that the Peace light show is a lot different from Tom's light show. The layout, the way that they've chosen to deploy pixels through their house and use video and other things is very different. And that's what I love. And so it looks different, and let's take a look now. First of all, I mean, if you grew up in the 90s like I did, Super Mario Brothers, or the 80s, man, this is such a memorable thing to hear the Super Mario Brothers theme music and to have this. So this is actually, coming back here, this was something I hadn't noticed before. This is a really interesting effect here. And so it looks like they're using maybe a video projector or a couple moving lights to do these spots initially across the whole house. So these spots that are moving around are not the pixels themselves, because they're not lighting up. I mean, some of them are. But ultimately, you can see the shadowing from it. So it's some sort of light. It could be some stage light spots or a projector. And so I think that's kind of cool how they're layering on top, that projection with pixel lights. Again, maybe not something you'll do, but really interesting. Okay, so the first thing you notice with their show, and this is all on, I think this is from the light fight when they were on there, is that they literally have like pixels at maybe a 2-inch spacing across the entire front of their house to run animations on. And, love it or hate it, when you have a matrix that's this huge across the whole house, man, it looks cool.
Here we go, off the rails. Did you know it's time to raise our sails?
Yeah, so he's definitely got some spot type lights, some floods rather, down here, down low at his house. I wonder if these are what are creating these spots early on. Let's see if we can find out. I don't think those are the same lights, but similar concept.
Off the rails. Did you know it's time to raise our sails? It's freedom like you never knew.
Again, the animation looks incredible. The fact that they can run literal video on their house looks great. Again, maybe not something that's within the reach of everybody else. Maybe you'll decide to do this, maybe you won't. But I love their integration too of the lights. They've got some lights in their street lamps here that are not their street lamps, but you know what I'm talking about. These little, let's see if we can find a spot where they're lit up. Yeah, those guys, there's pixels in the post lamps animations. I love the bounce back and forth too between having stuff on the house and then switching to the mega tree. It creates that really cool dynamic, that back and forth feeling that, even if you don't have a lot of lights, because David Peace and his family, they have a lot of lights. But even if you don't have a lot of lights, that bouncing back and forth between sides or portions of your display looks great. So now we're up in the video projector, no lights at all.
It's time to jump up in the air.
This part I love. Obviously, the peace stick, that design is their design that the Peace family came up with. But I just love that whimsical look of all of them with this depth, and they're all just jumping together. I know it's a super simple animation, but when it's multiplied to that depth, it looks so fun and it's just so whimsical. And same, there's a marquee effect going on their roof line, which is quite extensive. Looks great. Yeah, so all those, this is just fun. I mean, it might not be practical for your house, right? Like somewhere in here, we had the fog machine coming out through the cannon, and we had the moving lights all over the house, but so fun, so whimsical. Thank you, Peace family, for doing that. I know it's a short video, so this is shorter for me. But ultimately, I hope you learned some things from watching this video. If you did, hop over to learnchristmaslighting.com. I know it's January when I'm making this, but if you're considering doing a Christmas display, maybe you just came off the season watching them and you're like, hey, I want to do this next year. Hop over to Learn Christmas Lighting. Get my free guide. It's the 3 things I want you to know before you buy any Christmas lights. And before you get started with your display, I really want you to know these things so you buy the right things the first time, so you don't waste money, etc., etc. So have a great day. See you over at Learn Christmas Lighting. Subscribe if you're not, and we'll see you next week here on the channel. Thanks.